Watch this video and then we'll talk about it.
When you come over,
Okay.
usually you ask me. Well, actually, before you come over, when you ask me if I'm hungry or anything, I'll be saying yes. But I actually be no because I already had ate before you come, so it's just extra food for me.
So you had me buy you food and waste my money even though you already ate.
Wait, we're not done listening. Watch this last clip, there's more.
When you ask me for money, I tell you I don't have. I actually do.
So when I was hungry and I needed money for food.
No, listen, man. I have to put myself first.
If you are going to marry someone or be with someone and spend your life with someone, it needs to be benefiting you in some way. There is no way in hell that you should be in a relationship with a man, whether or not he has the money, that would allow you to be hungry. What is going on? What is going on? If they really do want to be leaders, and if they really do want to be providers, they would be selling plasma, their clothes, they would go walk somebody's dog, they would Uber for an hour, they would do something to make sure that you didn't starve. But to sit up there and to lie to you, a lot of y'all don't understand. Your boyfriends, your husbands, they fucking hate you. They fucking hate you. Okay? You're gonna sit up there and lie to her and she ain't got no food. These men, they see you bettering yourself, whether that be losing weight, getting into shape, getting more opportunities, finally getting the social life you've been wanting and getting out of the house, and then they want to knock you up. They ignore you when they walk in the house and they're in this grumpy ass mood and they go hide in their man cave. And then you gotta decipher like some secret code and you're a spy and you gotta try to figure out, did you do something wrong or something? No, they fucking hate their lives. They hate their lives and they don't like you. They don't like you. Men only want to be seen as providers and leaders in name, not in actual action. I know I'm missing a thumb. I was doing some cooking earlier, just whatever. We could have a whole discussion, and I've actually done videos about the fact that we don't need to be led as women. And if you really want to be honest, we are better protectors and providers. But anyway, but if you let a man lead you, if you act like a complete dodo brain and fall for the religious and patriarchal programming of letting a man lead you, he will lead you straight to fucking hell, okay? I have heard, not just from friends and family and coworkers, but I've been making this content for several years now. I've heard thousands of stories of women who were in these relationships where they were submissive and they let the man lead because that's what God would want. And even if they weren't religious, patriarchy, it's heavily ingrained in society. The default factory setting for women is to let the man lead. We weren't born that way, but we were taught that way. But the stories I've heard of women who let the man lead and it caused them to lose everything is astounding. It's horrifying. Women who have actually had to intervene to prevent that from happening is horrifying. Investments that they thought would pan out, businesses that they started that were just a bunch of shit, hundreds of thousands of dollars on buying trucks and maintaining trucks and bicycles and motorcycles and sports gear and fitness gear and loaning out money to people who never paid it back, investing in things that were just a scam. And what's even more sad is when these same men get desperate and then they steal money from their wives and from their children. And something comes up to where those kids or their wife needs that money and they discover it ain't there. See, men don't want to believe this, but patriarchy harms them too. So now they're under this pressure to live up to what a man is supposed to be, provider and leader. Deep down, they really don't want this pressure, or they take it on too soon, or they bite off more than they can chew, and they end up fucking it up, or they end up getting desperate. And then that's where, on the other very tragic side of the spectrum, you see men who annihilate their whole entire families, wives, kids, completely gone because they didn't know what else to do. And I'm not saying that to feel bad for them. I'm saying that because men don't understand how patriarchy harms them too. It puts this unnecessary pressure on them to protect and provide when they are not naturally protectors or providers. All these roles that all these cookie cutter roles that we fall into as men and women, that's patriarchal programming. You got to get married first, get a house, have kids, you cook and clean, he goes out and works. And even if you do go outside and work, you still cook and clean because that's your job. He's the leader. You can't even decide what your ring size is without asking his advice on it. You go somewhere to take care of an important matter and you're looking at him to see what he has to say. If you make a reservation at a restaurant, it has to be in his name. All of that shit. That's programming. And a lot of you don't want to understand that. But it is. The very order that we do things is programming. That's why when a woman goes against that programming, people malfunction and freak out. What do you mean you don't want to get married? What do you mean you don't want kids? What do you mean you want to have kids and not be married? Why are you in an apartment? You're supposed to get a house. What do you mean you didn't take your husband's name? Do you not love your husband? Things that are commonly done in heterosexual relationships. At the very root, you were programmed to do things that way. Now, this is going to make a lot of your assholes itch. I know. This is why you have women who will die on the hill of, you have to get married if you're going to have kids. I don't care if I could still be left and be broke and be single. You have to be married. When I left my abusive ex-husband in 2008 and went to a women's shelter, I think every woman in that shelter except for one was married. And all of us were broke. None of us had money. All of us had years of struggle ahead of us to rebuild our lives. Marriage only benefits women if that man has money. That's it. And this is going to be a hard pill for a lot of you to swallow, I know, but it's the fucking truth. If that man doesn't have money and that marriage ends, you're either going to leave with nothing or you're going to leave in complete debt that you're going to have to spend years to pay off. Well, I don't agree. Well, I don't give a shit. Most of the women who are screaming that they don't agree don't have any money. At all. And if their husbands were to walk out on them right now, they would be fucked. But I'm going to let them live in their land of delusion. Let's continue. Most of the women screaming about getting a prenup, they don't even have one. And if they were to get into a relationship next month and get married next year, they would not get one. Everybody is just talking a bunch of shit, okay?